some common questions can include things like where your polling place is. However, they say they are prepared to answer any questions. We've seen record numbers of people show up. What do you think is the reason for that? If water elevation drops below 1075, 1050, or 1025 feet, the water delivery to Arizona and Nevada is reduced at each step. Election day is on the 3rd of May, and polls will be open from 7 o'clock a.m. to 10 o'clock p.m. Here's everything else that you need to know. Students involved in the Southern Arizona Teen Aviation Program are involved in all parts of building an airplane, including this fuselage. Luke Air Force Base is primarily a training base. That means having fewer pilots has a serious impact in terms of being ready for potential missions. Currently, there are only 58 instructor pilots filling out 84 available spots for F-16 fighter jets. For the F-35 fighter jets, they only have 85 out of 101 instructor pilots. This has led to high school students coming from all parts of the state to train in different areas impacted by this pilot shortage. Every day at Luke Air Force Base in Arizona, pilots are training to fly F-16 and F-35 fighter jets.
And just getting up in the air, that feeling that you get in your stomach.
South Mountain High School senior Jaja Obasi says he'd like to follow in their footsteps one day.
And then just watching as everything gets smaller and smaller and smaller.
For now, he's taking part in his high school's aerospace program. But although Obasi and other student pilots are hoping their aviation careers take off, the Air Force is experiencing a pilot shortage. At Luke Air Force Base, which is mainly a training base, the primary concern is staffing instructor pilots. Air Force officials say that after 8 to 10 years, pilots in training often leave, looking for better ways to balance their work and family life.
Right now, we don't have enough of certain types of pilots to actually account for all the jobs that we need to do in the Air Force. So those can be anything from here in the front line of actually flying aircraft all the way to kind of the staff jobs that require pilot knowledge as a background to be able to do the job.
He also says another cause of the pilot shortage is aircraft availability, with maintenance playing a big role. That's because the number of pilots that can train depends on the number of aircraft available. 2 hours away, in Tucson, Arizona, high school students are learning those skills. Students involved in the Southern Arizona Teen Aviation Program are involved in all parts of building an airplane, including this fuselage.
Anybody who's going to fly, if they work on this airplane, will learn all about the intricacies of what makes an airplane go. I mean, I think we're trying to give the kids an opportunity to get their hands on an airplane, see what an airplane's like, fly in an airplane, work with an airplane, build an airplane. Andriata
says one way the Air Force is looking to produce more pilots is by increasing efficiency in training.
Where we can decrease the course length, but not decrease the quality of the product that we're sending out there. So that's how we produce more.
Obasi says he loves aviation because there's lots of experiences you can have within the field.
We need more pilots. It's definitely something that can't be overlooked. It's a fun field.
By 2024, Air Force officials say their goal is to have all positions manned at 95%. For fighter pilot positions, the year they are looking at is 2029. Holly Bernstein, Cronkite News. The president made those comments to reporters today at the White House. He says the U.S. is going to be prepared and the migrants are not going to come into our country. Residents in the border town are concerned about the impact. I also spoke with the Nogales mayor, who says he has not been contacted with information about this deployment.
And it feels like we're in a militarized zone. We don't need any more.
The town of Nogales is bisected by the U.S.-Mexico border. Thousands of troops will soon be deployed along this area to assist Border Patrol with the migrant caravan coming from Central America. A physical divide has also created a divide of reactions to the troops within the Nogales community.
I would say very little to none impact. I mean, it's happened before and a lot of people notice it, but it doesn't really affect anything. They do what they do.
Nanette Miranda, who owns an art gallery there, says it makes travel and business harder.
Many people who live and work here have business and or family on both sides of the border. So to the extent that it impedes movement across the border, it's just not necessary.
Nogales Mayor John Doyle says the troops act as a deterrent, providing additional barriers and logistical support for the Border Patrol with a large amount of people arriving at the border.
that it's nothing personal, nothing about that we don't like, people from Central America or something. No, it's not about that.
Doyle also says he has not been contacted by military officials regarding the troops' presence.
It would be appropriate, and they would show some respect for the community leaders to at least let us know what's going on.
Other residents, like shop worker Myra Alejandra Reyes Gaxiola, are sympathetic to the migrants in the caravan.
I think it's very sad because people come from very far away so they can have an opportunity right here.
The troops are expected to be deployed until mid-December. Along with Nogales, troops will also be deployed in California and Texas. In the broadcast center, Holly Bernstein, Cronkite News.